What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to an all-new Let's Play Hearts of Iron 4 with our Soviet Union World Conquest. Within the last episode, we have declared war on Turkey, we've declared war on Romania and Bulgaria, and we have done actually very well. We have been very successful in our endeavors, but obviously we are having a very tough time crossing the Sea of Marmara, and, it says we have a 99% chance to... Well, that was easy. It looks like we have finally gone ahead and we've been successful. I'm hoping that we can arrive on time to secure a foothold. We now also have the German-Soviet Treaty, and so essentially what's happening is Germany wants to declare war on Poland to grow their country through conquest, but they know the Soviet Union would back Poland rather than Germany. So what they're trying to do is the capitalists they're trying to go ahead and create ourselves a non-aggression pact, trying to, befriend us. But obviously they're a fascist government and we are communists, so we don't like each other. So we could either make a treaty with the Germans, or we can tell them to go, F off or screw off, excuse my language. But where we're standing is, you can go ahead and read this if you want. If we accept this treaty, we get armor technology and medium tank models, and they like us more. And, hopefully more things will come. So let's go ahead and accept this, because we're trying to play as historical as possible. Looking at our national focus, we completed positive heroism. Let's go ahead and get the progress cult. So we're now going to get research time reduction on all future technologies. Man, we are having such a hard time. Do we actually own the port yet? No. So, looks like talented officers, lower penalties from officers purged. So now all of these units are going to now officially have more and more organization. I feel like Turkey is pretty much done for. They are about to capitulate, about to surrender. Alexander Gorbachev went from level 2 to level 4. And wow! Zakharov went from level 1 to level 7. Oh my goodness. How did that happen? Well, we have 500 army experience and 500 air experience. Things are obviously looking very, very well for us. So, almost immediately, I'm going to take all of Zakharov's troops, I'm going to put them against Yugoslavia, and all 72 of Alexander Gorbachev's troops are going to be put against Poland. And so also, right off the bat, you're going to recognize that we have 500 air experience and 500 army experience. I'm going to use the army experience later, but let's go ahead and improve whatever planes we can. Looking at our tactical bombers, what I'm planning on doing is improving the reliability by 3 and the range by 2. So now they have a lot more range than before. So, obviously the interwar bombers were pretty good. Now we have the tactical bomber, which is obviously what we have. And now we're upgrading the tactical bomber once again. So we probably went from about 1,500 range to roughly 3,200. And they're more reliable. Might as well give them an extra engine as well, only because we can boost their agility and boost their range. So let's go ahead and do that. And now we want to produce the better planes, decommission the old bombers. And also, looking at our fighters, we are now going to be improving their range, their reliability, and roughly, I can't do any better agility. So now they have better range altogether, roughly 1,100 kilometers rather than 910, but it's obviously a lot better than what we had before. And so now that everybody has basically done what we want, let's actually remove all of these unread naval convoy battles. Let's take our fleet, move you back to Sevastopol. And I'm looking for our air divisions. Here they are. We're going to disband you all together and remove all of these planes, and they'll go back to their reserves. The only planes that I'm going to keep here are my naval bombers. I believe I only have around 54. I'm not actually producing any at all. But I'm really happy with all of the conquests that we've undergone. We now have taken over the economy of Romania, Bulgaria, and Turkey. And so obviously with great power comes great responsibility. So now I'm going to have to go ahead and produce a lot more troops to basically, try to protect my assets. And looking at the ability to modify our government, let's actually unlock the material designer for artillery, motorized. Let's go with infantry equipment, because we're going to have a lot of infantry units, because we're the Soviet Union. And yeah, so we're still working on, actually, because we've inherited their economies, we got a bunch of additional civilian factories and military factories. So where we stand is we're still trying to complete that very tall order that we were going against last time, and all of our forces are now making their way to the front lines. And yeah, that's where we stand. Progress Cult has been unlocked. We now have better research rate for all future technologies. And now we're going to be unlocking socialist science, which is going to give us 3% additional manpower. Which I guess that doesn't seem like a lot. But we're going to go from like 600,000 to roughly 3 to 5 million. Though that could be wrong. But obviously we're going to definitely go up there. So the reason why the other technology is so much better is I could have gotten that extra research slot, you know, maybe I would have had it already. And so what would have happened is I could have definitely expedited all of that research. And then what I was supposed to do was get that research slot first and then go ahead and do the Great Purge. But I obviously switched that up. Marco Polo Bridge incident. So it looks like Japan and China are about to go to war with each other. Looking at the different technologies, it's not 1938 just yet. And I'm looking, I could go ahead and unlock the close air support. I don't think I really need that. I am going to go ahead and unlock better excavation, which is resource efficiency from all of our mines here. And so the idea is hopefully, you know, I'm going to be getting a lot more steel. I'm going to be getting a lot more tungsten. Do I need it now? Absolutely not. But I guarantee you that once I stop focusing on civilian production and switch over to, you know, military production, it'll definitely come in handy. In fact, I need one more bomber to top those off. And I'm happy. We're building roughly about 2 tactical bombers a week. That is definitely going to be put to good use. I'm curious to see what their range is. Let's actually get one tactical... So we want the better one, Tactical Bomber 1. And we also... Oh my goodness. And we also want the Interwar Bomber, and we just want one. So as you can see, that is an absolute massive, massive difference with our tactical bombers. And not only do they have more range, but they also have a heck of a lot more power and agility as well. It's actually kind of ridiculous at how far they can go. Alright, Field Hospital has been unlocked. Let's start making our way down to the logistics company. So, ultimately, a field hospital is basically going to, you know, obviously save our troops. We're going to have better trickle back, and ultimately, so 20% of all of our troops are supposedly not going to die. And because they don't die, what I really care about is the experience reduction. So as soldiers die, they obviously lose experience. So if I could obviously get Field Hospital 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, we're going to get a negative 40% experience loss. And so that means our troops are really going to be powerful. Socialist science has been unlocked, making our way down to the extra research slot. And I believe I read that correctly. I believe Japan and China are now at war with each other. So world tension is skyrocketing. We have caused 28% of all of the world tension. So World War II might be springing on us a little bit sooner than we would have liked. Maybe by about 2 years. I hope that's not true, though. Talented new officers once again. So I believe we've had three occasions where the division organization has gone down. So we had negative 50%, now it's negative 35%. So it's only going to get better and better. Socialist science, 3% recruitable population. We have 5 million manpower. That is absolutely ridiculous. So we're going to be fighting for a very long time. I also want to modify our government. Let's go ahead and hire up a naval ship... let's go ahead and hire up the naval research time minus 10%. And the reason why I say that is after we get this extra research slot, I'm going to start improving my navy. Not by a lot, but I would really like to go ahead and get a better battleship. Because we're producing a battleship that was in I would like to say 1922, but I guess I'll verify that. From, it doesn't tell me, 1922 battleship. So I would like to have a 1936 battleship, and maybe it'll do a heck of a lot better. Pocket defense has been unlocked. That was our very expensive land doctrine, giving permanently out of supply modifiers and supply grace. So, you know, if we ever have issues with infrastructure, we're going to be a lot better off. Let's actually start working on defense in depth. So imagine having more entrenchment and health for all of our troops and not even buying anything. So that is definitely a good option. Alright, looks like we have the research slot completed and the Anschluss of Austria. So now the German Reich has had a military coup, and basically all of Austria now belongs to the German Reich. So their war machine is growing, and obviously the whole world is upset. World tension is going to skyrocket. Looking at our national focus, let's start working on an ocean-going navy, because I really want to get that extra battleship. Looking at support companies, I now want to get signal companies as well. So basically, we have better entrenchment, better movement speed and tactics. We now have the ability to save some troops, save some experience. We now have more supply, and we take less supply penalties. And now we're going to get signal companies, so now we respond to situations more efficiently. And in fact, I feel like, you know, don't get me wrong, all of these support companies are very important, but I used to always get field hospitals first. I feel like signal companies are probably the best, because with so many different troops, I need to respond to different situations. And obviously, it's a little bit of a challenge from time to time. We can deploy those units. Can we put field hospitals in them? Yes, we can. But sadly enough, we are missing support equipment. And that is fine by me. So let's go ahead and produce these now. In fact, yep, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to produce them now. And I am going to take roughly 12, split these in half, and take these other 12, put them in a group of their own. 12 will basically head their way over to Iran, and these 12 can basically protect this border of Iran as well. And just to be safe, you're going to go down, you're going to go down, you're going to go over here. And I like to have my my Western Soviet army on the top bar, and obviously my Eastern armies on the bottom bar. And I'll change these colors in time, they just don't matter to me all that much. Excavation has been unlocked. We are now in 1938, so that means the 1938 technologies have been unlocked, and now getting the computing machine. So we've now gone down engineering for -2%, -3%, and now -3%. So we're going to have -8% research time. You know, those investments are definitely going to be paying off. Alright, most of our military factories are being constructed, and sadly enough, I think what I'm going to do is start building up some of those naval dockyards. Do I really need them? Not really, but I would like to have some powerful battleships being produced. And, you know, might as well make that happen. I also absolutely am going to need convoys. So I'll put on them for the queues as well. But my highest priority is basically building up a defensive perimeter, and that means, you know, maybe getting a lot more infantry equipment. I don't know if I really need tanks, but I'm probably going to need, you know, anti-tank artillery, and I'll build that in time. Alright, an ocean-going navy is just about done, so we now get incredibly cost-efficient research technology for battleships, and I'll show you that in a minute. Now that we've unlocked the Great Purge, we can either have NKVD primacy, which doesn't really help us all that much, or we can do rehabilitated military, which gives division recovery rate of 10%. That is absolutely amazing, so we're going to go ahead and start unlocking that skill tree. Alright, so our treaty with the Germans paid off with the tanks, but what about German joint air research? Getting 50% research bonus of jets and radar technology, absolutely. So you would think we're becoming great friends with the Germans, but sadly, we know they're going to backstab us eventually. Obviously, I'm a student of history. We're still in 1938. Might as well go ahead and unlock the improved infantry equipment. Once again, you don't have to actually build anything, but your infantry are going to get more health, And it is going to eventually lead to better weapons. So might as well get that now, though obviously the weapons will come inside the year 1939, much like a lot of our other industry. And, oh, you know what? Dang it. I should have researched that naval vessel, and I did not. Talented new officers, once again. Yeah, as you can see, rather than, I think it would normally be 120 days, it's only 50 days to research this Project 21. Man, I really goofed up. I should have gotten that vessel. I don't think our battleship will be done in time. Yeah, 21st of January, I've got 6 months. Though I guarantee you, in 50 days, I'm going to forget again. I have 150 political power. Let's go ahead and get light aircraft design. So better agility, better speed for fighters, and... Ooh. I did not know that. This is only for fighters. I always thought this was fighters and close air support. I was wrong. That's new. I did not know that. Well, for now on, we have a 10% air research time for all fighters, which is obviously very good. Alright, we're about to get the rehabilitated military, and now moving down the list, we obviously have the goal of the extra research slot. So now we have 50% research bonus for land doctrines, and we're going to get 20 army experience, which is really, really good. Man, I really need better. I really need better and more military factories. Let's actually produce roughly 15. You know what? You know what I'm going to do? Let's actually produce another 15 civilian factories. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And the reason why I say that is I really want to get the most powerful economy possible, and if I have more civilian factories, I can produce more military factories quicker. So this obviously is a gamble, but I feel like we're definitely going to be, you know, paying off soon enough. Let's start building up some military factories as well. And over time, that will eventually happen. Alright, Signal Company has been unlocked. We cannot forget to finally unlock the Better Battleship, which is actually the 1936 version, so it is a little dated, but it's only 49 days to research. But ultimately, it is what it is. We are building up a lot of our... Actually, let's remove the location. I hope I didn't produce any units. And I think I did. I produced units and I should not have. Let's move all of you 8 together. And one thing I do need to be clear about is, don't get me wrong, we need units, but I don't know why, maybe I'm type A, but I like to go ahead and have all of my units in groups of 12 or 24 rather than just 5 at a time, because then they fit inside the generals pretty easily. Okay, so our research slot is available. It's not 1939, and I'm not really willing to pay, you know, extra time to get better research. So we're going to start working on better... actually, we don't even have anti-tank. We're going to start working on researching those. And who knows, maybe start producing some of those if we can. So it looks like we do need 4 additional naval dockyards. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the reasoning for that is obviously I want to go ahead and produce convoys. And don't get me wrong, we had about 50 to 60 convoys, but those are going to sink in time. Looks like we have the 4th International. You can read it if you'd like. France and Great Britain announce an alliance. Military organization has been unlocked, so land research time reduction. Yeah, but ultimately I need to start, definitely need to start working on my, you know, military tech, you know, infrastructure very soon. No national focus. Because we already had that war, we can now unlock the lessons of war. So basically, we can only do this after we had a war after the Great Purge. And normally you'd have to wait about 2 more years. So we did get this early. We're now going to get very cheap. So we're going to remove the Officer's Purge penalty. We're going to get better armor tech and better land doctrines. Alright, Project 21 has been unlocked. I don't think I really want to spend any resources working on the super heavy battleship. And so I don't think I'm really going to worry about that yet. It's 1938, almost 1939. Might as well work on the very first level of radar tech. And I suppose very soon this level 1 battleship's going to be finished up. Let's start working on a level 2 battleship and putting it on down inside Crimea as well. And what's cool is now... successful purge. And what's cool is now that we have access through the Strait of Mara, we can actually go all the way through out the Mediterranean, which is pretty fantastic. Okay, we still have a lot of army experience, nothing we can really do about that. Unlocking the computing machine, giving us research time bonuses. We're only in October, so let's go ahead and start working on better encryption. This is very, very cheap, and hopefully by the time 1939 rolls around, I'll be able to basically hit the ground running with a lot of different industry technologies, like better construction, better production efficiency, and maybe concentrated industry as well. Yeah, but don't get me wrong, I'm happy that we're producing all of these things. Let's actually build up our navy first. Alright, defense in depth. And I'm curious... I'm probably going to do it a little bit early and start working on construction industry. And I get that I'm going to pay a penalty, but the best thing to do is to wait the exact 30 days. We just unlocked radio detection. And ultimately, this construction 3 will be 126 days rather than, I guess, 150. And we are going to be paying a 25% the penalty. That is quite bad. Alright, Japanese build-up. I do not want to go to war with Japan, so I get that we could push back. It doesn't really seem worth it to me, because ultimately a lot of people will die, will lose recruitable population, and all I gain is 10 army experience if I win. And I already have the max army experience. So now that we're starting to work on construction, once again, we are still ahead of time with this technology, Soviet withdrawal. So what I'm planning on doing is probably getting better concentrated industry. So now all of our factories produce more as well. Not necessarily production, but they can build other... Well, I guess they could... Well, I guess it works both ways. Better construction and better production. Alright, same thing. We're going to be working on better industry, getting more advanced machine tools, and we're actually going to start working on better weapons sometime soon. We are still not in the first of next year. Yugoslavia claims Bulgaria, but I already own Bulgaria. That's kind of funny. Well, if they ever go to war with me, I would absolutely crush them. Alright, it's the first. Let's get advanced machine tools, and we might as well unlock the PPSH. So ultimately, rather than getting, I guess, semi-automatic rifles, we now have fully automatic, which is pretty broken. And I think these are claymores, so, you know, better bombs against tanks. And let's actually start moving down to Research City Experiments. And I'm hoping that we can unlock that next research slot sometime soon. Alright, just to be safe, I moved up that naval dockyard with the hope of finally getting all of our battleships pumped up and ready to go. Let's actually go ahead and combine our entire fleet, as we now have 2 battleships. Not really worth our time, but obviously these are 1922 battleships. I wish I could improve them, but sadly I can't. German Reich claims Memel. So they've... Oh, sorry. They've gone ahead. The German Reich has taken over the Anschluss of Austria. They have taken over the Sudetenland territories from Czechoslovakia. And they have just... This was already Germany. They have just taken over the city of Memel. Not necessarily the greatest ambition, but I believe all that's next. They're eventually going to take over all of Czechoslovakia. This province here actually already belongs to Hungary, so this was already taken from Slovakia. And after that happens, the war with Poland is about to be undergone. We have a lot of political power. Let's go ahead and unlock that communist advisor every month. I don't really need this man. Daily communism support. But who knows. It will prevent us from ever becoming fascist or democratic. I don't think we ever really needed him, unless we were playing multiplayer. And just like that, all of our civilian factories are done. We are going to be producing a heck of a lot more equipment. I think the next thing I need to build is the anti-tank. And then I'm going to start building up some more infantry equipment, and then I'm going to start building up some more support equipment. And then I think I'm going to need planes, but obviously this is going to take a very, very long time to produce. Well, sadly enough, I am going to have to end this episode, but let's go ahead and get the heavy tank designer. I don't think I'm really going to get him anytime soon, but this is where we stand. The Soviet Union is starting to finally get strong. We're actually building up a navy now, though very, very weak. And now we are going, because we have a good economy, we are going to be roaring up our military production. And if we ever have to go to war with the German Reich, they are not going to be kicking us around. Alright, thanks again everybody. Hope you all have an awesome day. I will see you in our next adventure.